It appears as though their anti-trans campaign is working. I've seen several videos of young trans people early in their transition crying. Young trans people in red states trying to figure out where they belong, or if they belong, which bathroom they belong. Perhaps what happened in Minnesota recently helped to solidify these fears. The administration has realized that when they need a distraction, nothing serves their purposes better than trans people. A bunch of women hold a press conference, and the next morning they're trying to ban trans people from owning guns. They said that there's been an increase in sales of pew-pews to trans people. How would they possibly know that? The videos I saw were young trans people talking about feeling unsafe. Someone looked at me too long. People began acting weird when I walked by. Nothing actually happened to these people, but the fear they felt made it seem as though it was. It's part of their plan to paralyze trans people with fear. In a couple of other videos, people were pointing at injuries that were difficult to see, and I kept waiting to hear the part where they fought back, which never happened. Those of us who came up in a time before visibility, before legal protections, remember the fear. We remember the fear very well. Twice I had to be hospitalized because of the beatings. The right to be scared. It's appropriate to feel the fear. Comment sections of these videos were filled with other trans people saying they were afraid to leave their houses. Not leaving the house may be a great short-term solution. It implies that maybe you think this might pass, that it'll go away. But it's not sustainable if it doesn't. Based on the way it's been going, I expect it to get worse before it gets better. If you're afraid to leave your house, you have to acknowledge that it is time for you to start thinking and planning a departure from your state to a safer state. And until that happens, you're going to have to find ways to be safe when you're out. It's imperative that you protect yourself. Trans people can't use a public restroom in Texas. No restroom. They can't go to any restroom in Texas. So if you're in your state and you feel nervous about using public restrooms, then don't use a public restroom. Is it sustainable not to be able to use a public restroom for very long? No, it's not. That's why you have to figure out a way to get out of that state. If you don't have community, then it's time to find one. We have very little control over this situation, so all we can control is our reaction to it. You can't sit around waiting for things to change. You've got to make the changes that are going to help you. You've got to force yourself out of the denial, saying things like, I can't believe this is happening. How could this be happening in this country? Well, it is happening, and it's happening to us, so now it's time to take action. Do something to keep yourself safe. Throughout history, trans people found safety by moving. Moving to safer places. Not safe places, because safe places don't exist. Safer places do. A lot of trans people are struggling right now, realizing that all of their plans have to be deferred so that they can stay safe. For several months, I think a lot of us were waiting for us to come together, for the community to come together, stand up and fight. That hasn't happened, so you're going to have to look out for yourself. Activists are able to fly around the nation with their organizations supporting them. Most of us don't have an organization behind us. I wish I was clever enough to figure out a way to get people from one state to another safely, but I'm not. I'm not a creator with a huge following, but there are a lot of trans creators with huge followings who could spearhead this. If you're stuck somewhere really unsafe, why don't you ask them for help? There's a shit ton of problems that money can't solve, but this isn't one of them. This is the time to take a page from my generation's book. If something feels too stressful or too dangerous to do, then don't do it. When we couldn't get 9-to-5 jobs, we did survival work. When we couldn't go out during the day, we only went out at night. When shopping proved challenging, we asked one of our friends who could sew to make us something. You mitigate feeling overwhelmed by prioritizing, then by creating a plan, followed by the execution of that plan, step by step, one step at a time, until your plan is complete. And then you do it again. You've done nothing wrong. You're perfect just the way you are. You're strong enough, you're smart enough, you're lovable. You've done nothing to deserve what's being done to you. Unfortunately, you have no other choice but to react in your best interest.